Akashvani presents Morning News. Good morning, I'm Anuja Kumar. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi welcomes agreement between Israel and Hamas for release of hostages held in Gaza, condemns death of civilians and asserts terrorism is unacceptable. Rescue operation enters final stages to evacuate workers trapped inside collapsed tunnel in Uttarkashi. Campaigning for Rajasthan Assembly elections ends this evening, state to go to polls on Saturday. Prime Minister to take part in Sant Mirabai Janmotsav at Mathura in Uttar Pradesh today. And in cricket, India to take on Australia in opening game of 5-match T20 International series in Visakhapatnam today. And now the news in detail. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has welcomed the agreement between Israel and Palestinian terror group Hamas for the release of 50 hostages held in Gaza and a temporary pause in fighting. In his remarks at the virtual G20 Leaders Summit last evening, Mr. Modi expressed hope that all the hostages will be released soon. The Prime Minister expressed firm belief that terrorism is unacceptable to all and added that the death of civilians is condemnable.
पश्चिम एशिया क्षेत्र में असुरक्षा और अस्थिरता की स्थिति हम सब के लिए चिंता का विषय है। सिविलियंस की मौत कहीं भी हो निंदनीय है। हॉस्टेजेस के रिलीज के समाचार का हम स्वागत करते हैं। उम्मीद करते हैं कि सभी हॉस्टेजेस जल्दी रिहा हो जाएंगे। मानवीय सहायता का समय से और निरंतर पहुंचना आवश्यक है। यह सुनिश्चित करना भी जरूरी है कि इजरायल और हमास की लड़ाई किसी तरह का क्षेत्रीय रूप धारण न कर ले।
Mr. Modi asserted that concerns of the global south will have to be given top priority in the 21st century. He said G20 got the identity of People's 20 under the presidency of India. The Prime Minister also stressed on the responsible use of technology in the age of artificial intelligence.
आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस के युग में टेक्नोलॉजी को रिस्पॉन्सिबल तरीके से उपयोग में लाने की जरूरत है। पूरी दुनिया में एआई के नेगेटिव यूज को लेकर चिंता बढ़ रही है। डीप फेक समाज के लिए, व्यक्ति के लिए कितना खतरनाक है, इसकी गंभीरता को समझते हुए हमें आगे बढ़ना होगा। भारत में अगले महीने ग्लोबल एआई पार्टनरशिप समिट आयोजित की जा रही है।
During the summit, leaders reviewed the progress in the implementation of outcomes and the action points from the New Delhi summit. As India is set to conclude its historic G20 presidency, the Prime Minister laid out his vision for the future of G20. He proposed to share experience of India's aspirational district program with G20 and the Global South countries. He also proposed setting up of Social Impact Fund to implement digital public infrastructure in Global South. India will provide an initial assistance of $25 million. He also invited G20 countries for the Global AI Partnership Summit being organized by India. Mr. Modi also outlined G20 convergence on Israel-Hamas conflict and Israel-Palestine issue. He said two-state solution is the permanent solution for Israel-Palestine issue and restoration of regional peace and stability. He stressed that dialogue and diplomacy are the only means to solve geopolitical conflicts. The Prime Minister also called for concrete steps on Global South's climate priorities at COP28. India holds the G20 presidency until the 30th of this month. The G20 Troika during the Brazilian G20 presidency in 2024 will comprise India, Brazil and South Africa. The Israel government has stated that the release of hostages under a temporary truce between Israel and Hamas will not take place before Friday. Israeli public broadcaster reported that there was a 24-hour delay because the agreement was not signed by Hamas and mediator Qatar. Israel and Hamas yesterday came to an agreement to a ceasefire for at least 4 days to allow humanitarian aid into conflict-hit Gaza and release of at least 50 hostages held by terrorists in the enclave in exchange for at least 150 Palestinians imprisoned in Israel. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar said all 21 members of the G20, including the African Union, the 9 guest countries and 11 international organizations participated in the virtual G20 summit chaired by Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Briefing media last evening, Dr. Jaishankar said the discussions were fruitful and productive. He said Prime Minister Modi assured Brazil President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva of India's fullest support during Brazil's presidency. Addressing the press briefing, Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman said the G20 has formally adopted the regulatory roadmap for crypto assets. The External Affairs Ministry has said that during the course of recent discussions on India-US security cooperation, the US side shared some inputs pertaining to a nexus between organized criminals, gun runners, terrorists and others. In response to media queries on reports of discussions between India and US on security matters, Ministry spokesperson Arindam Bagchi said the inputs are a cause of concern for both countries and they decided to take necessary follow-up action. He said New Delhi takes such inputs seriously since it impinges on India's own national security interests as well. Rescue efforts have entered the final stages to safely evacuate 41 workers trapped inside the collapsed Silkyara tunnel at Uttarkashi in Uttarakhand. Our correspondent reports that trapped workers are expected to be rescued by this morning. The rescue team has managed to push the pipe over 45 meters deep inside the Silkyara tunnel, leaving only 12 meters of rock and debris to be cleared before the rescue operation can be completed. All resources have been deployed for the safe retrieval of individuals. Medical teams are on standby for health checkups of the workers. The workers have been trapped under the debris inside the tunnel since 12th of this month after a portion of the under-construction tunnel from Silkyara to Barkot caved in following a landslide. This is Akashvani giving you the news. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts. Campaigning for Assembly election in Rajasthan will end this evening. Top leaders of major political parties will be leaving no stone unturned to woo the voters. Senior BJP leader and Prime Minister Narendra Modi will address an election rally in Deoghar in Rajsamand district today. Party leader and Home Minister Amit Shah will hold a roadshow in Nimbahera and Nathdwara of Chittorgarh. Several other senior leaders from BJP, including Yogi Adityanath, Vasundhara Raje and Gajendra Singh Shekhawat, will be holding public meetings and roadshows in favour of the party candidates. On the other hand, Congress leader and Chief Minister Ashok Gehlot will address election rallies in different areas of Jodhpur. Congress leaders Sachin Pilot, Randeep Surjewala, Mukul Vasnik and CP Joshi will also campaign for the party candidates. Polling for 199 assembly seats in Rajasthan will be held on the 25th of this month. Our correspondent has the details.
Candidates from various political parties and independents have left no stone unturned to ensure their victory in the last phase of the election campaign. Roadshows are being held at various places with the noise of loudspeakers. In rural areas, loudspeakers are being used and emotional appeals are being made in the tunes of local folk songs to ensure the candidate's victory. Meanwhile, the machinery of Election Commission is ready to ensure free and fair voting. Barricading has been set up at different places and vehicles are being checked. Jitendra Dwivedi, Akashvani News, Jaipur.
In Telangana as well, from high voltage campaigning to political face-offs, the election atmosphere is only getting intense. The 119-member state legislative assembly will go to polls on the 30th of this month. We have a report.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be holding electioneering for 3 days in Telangana from 25th of this month. He will hold rallies and roadshows in Hyderabad, Kamareddy, Rangareddy, Karimnagar, Mahbubnagar, besides Dubbaka and Nirmal constituencies during his final leg of campaigning in the state. BJP President JP Nadda will campaign in Nizamabad Urban and Sangareddy, while BJP allied Janasena Chief Pawan Kalyan will address a public meeting at Dubbaka. BRS Chief K. Chandrasekhar Rao will campaign in Maheshwaram, Vikarabad, Zahirabad and Patancheru constituencies. Pradesh Congress President Revant Reddy and party national leaders will campaign at different constituencies. Lakshmi, Akashvani News, Hyderabad.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi will visit Mathura in Uttar Pradesh today to take part in Sant Mirabai Janmotsav. The program is being organized to mark the 525th birth anniversary of Sant Mirabai. During the event, the Prime Minister will also release a commemorative stamp and a coin in honor of Sant Mirabai. The program will also mark the initiation of year-long programs in the memory of Sant Mirabai. Sant Mirabai is known for her devotion to Lord Krishna. She composed many hymns and verses which are popular even today. In Jammu and Kashmir, 4 army personnel, including 2 captains, were martyred while 2 others were injured during an encounter between security forces and terrorists in Rajouri district yesterday. The encounter broke out in the Bajimal area of Dharmsal following a cordon and search operation. The International Film Festival of India, or IFFI, has introduced the Best Web Series OTT award this year to acknowledge and encourage India's thriving streaming sector. A total of 32 entries across 10 languages from 15 OTT platforms have been selected for the inaugural Best Web Series award. The winning series will receive a certificate and a cash prize of 10 lakh rupees. Filmmaker Rajkumar Hirani is the head of the 5-member jury for the Best Web Series OTT award. Other members of the jury are filmmakers Utpal Borpujari and Krishna DK and actors Divya Datta and Prashonajit Chatterjee. Our Akashvani correspondent spoke to jury member Utpal Borpujari about the significance of this award.
It's a very important decision on the part of NFDC to start the award for OTT web series from this year, because as we have seen in the last couple of years, the OTT space has really exploded in India and a lot of good quality content is coming, and it's not only in Hindi and English space but also in all the major languages of India that we have specific OTTs.
Heavy rain lashed across several parts of Kerala last evening, leaving many places in the southern and central parts of the state inundated. Landslides were reported at 2 places in Pathanamthitta district last night. Night travel to hilly areas of the district has been banned till tomorrow, except for vehicles carrying pilgrims to Sabrimala. On to sports. In cricket, India will take on Australia in the opening game of the 5-match T20 International series at Visakhapatnam today. The match will begin at 7 p.m. Indian time. The fixture comes just 2 days after the 2 teams played the ODI World Cup final. Surya Kumar Yadav will captain India in the absence of full-time skipper Rohit Sharma. Youth Affairs and Sports Minister Anurag Singh Thakur has announced that the first edition of the Khelo India Para Games will be held from the 10th to the 17th of December in New Delhi. In a social media post, Mr. Thakur expressed confidence that the Games are going to be a game changer in a quest to improve para sports in the country and in identifying and aiding talented, specially abled athletes. And now, for a look at today's newspapers, it's over to Vaibhav Jyotsna Srivastava.
Thank you, Anuja. In a major breakthrough, Israel, Hamas agreed a 4-day truce, 50 hostages to walk free, 150 Palestinian prisoners to be let off too, cites the Tribune. The dailies have covered the news of Prime Minister Modi expressing zero tolerance for terrorism and urging global unity while virtually addressing the G20 leaders. The Times of India also adds PM welcomes Israel-Hamas deal, G20 7-point agreement. Hindustan Times quotes the Delhi High Court saying maintenance in marriage law is gender neutral. The much-awaited tunnel rescue operation on last lap, reports the Pioneer. In diplomatic thaw, India resumes e-visa services for Canadians, writes the Indian Express, and finally the Economic Times carries the information of Indigo Airlines' plan to introduce a premium class of seats along with hot food and a loyalty program by the end of 2024. Under the headline, Indigo checks in with ease of flying business. And with that, it's back to you, Anuja.
Thank you, Vaibhav. And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi welcomes agreement between Israel and Hamas for release of hostages held in Gaza, condemns death of civilians, and asserts terrorism is unacceptable. Rescue operation enters final stages to evacuate workers trapped inside collapsed tunnel in Uttarkashi. Campaigning for Rajasthan Assembly elections ends this evening. State to go to polls on Saturday. Prime Minister to take part in Sant Mirabai Janmotsav at Mathura in Uttar Pradesh today. And in cricket, India to take on Australia in opening game of 5-match T20 International series in Visakhapatnam today. And with that, we end the morning news. Have a nice day.